So Spider-Man fought Spider-Man, but they thought this was actually Spider-Man, but no, it was actually not Spider-Man, it was the Chameleon, but people thought it was because of his look, because this Spider-Man doesn't look like Spider-Man, because the symbiote. What if a third Spider-Man came into the mix, or maybe a fourth, or a fifth? How confusing would that be? Very. Hey everybody, it's Chainsaw Reacts back once again with another reaction for you guys. It's Spectacular Saturday, you know what that means, guys. It's time for us to continue the Spectacular Spider-Man. This is Season 1, Episode 11, Group Therapy. The last episode, Episode 10, Persona, holy crap, was a gigantic episode for a number of reasons. Let's go down the list, shall we? Number 1. The symbiote attached itself to Peter. He had no idea because he was in the middle of fighting Black Cat, who was teased in the episode before. I believe it was the episode before, if I remember correctly. Yes. And all of a sudden, boom, she's in the episode. She is contracted to steal the symbiote. Of course, was not successful. But all that was going on, and of course, symbiote attached itself to Peter. So Black Cat, Chameleon, but not only Chameleon is introduced. He's going around as Spider-Man, pretending to be Spider Thief, a new version of Spider-Man, and he's like, I'm your friendly neighborhood Spider Thief, and he's going around stealing stuff, and he's making Spider-Man look horrible, and of course, this is happening at the same time that Peter, Spider-Man, looks completely different with the symbiote, and it's so much, but they handled it so well, and it was so good, and what I thought was beautifully handled was Black Cat in terms of her interaction with Peter and everything, and basically her just being around, because it feels like she's always been around, but she hasn't. Like, she has been on the show except for that little cameo, and then boom, she's in the last episode, Persona, but she's just kind of like there. It's like all of a sudden, boom, she's here, and it feels like she's always been here, and it's really, really cool. And it's just like all the little details in terms of the symbiote being taken in to Dr. Connor's lab, and then it cuts to, on the news, it cuts to Eddie for a brief second. It's like, I know what you're doing there. It's like little things like that just makes this show really special, because if you pay attention to the details and look at every little thing as much as you can, you'll notice certain things. And the fact is, too, they had Mysterio, pre-Mysterio, a part of Chameleon's gang as well, which was really cool. And they had another character as well. I forget who the name was, but it was a character, I think, that ends up being another villain of Spider-Man, I think. But regardless, it's like this show knows how to just handle a bunch of stuff happening at once beautifully, because honestly, having the symbiote attach itself to Peter, Spider-Man, could have easily just been the whole episode, just that as is. But then you add on top of that Black Cat, which is a major foil, and something completely different that adds to the narrative and to the tone, the feel of now the show and the story, especially with her involvement with trying to get the symbiote and everything, and ultimately helping Peter go against the fake Spider-Man, who is Chameleon. Like, you just keep adding more of that stuff on top of the fact that we're handling a major storyline with the symbiote and Spider-Man coming together as one before eventually going to Eddie to become Venom. It's so good because literally they could have just focused on the symbiote stuff, and they did, but they added more and more and more, and it didn't feel like they're cramming too much. It felt like they were just giving us a gigantic story, like they've always had, because all the episodes have been giant in a sense, and they've added so much, and it never feels they're overdoing it. And so, like, once again, it just felt like they're just giving us a lot of really cool shit, because the show, that's just kind of how it's built. It's able to handle multiple big moments and handle multiple big storylines all at once, because they're finding ways to interweave them together so that when they all come together, it doesn't feel like there's too much going on. It's so good. It is so good. So now we have the next episode, episode 11, Group Therapy. I'm excited to get into this episode. We're almost done with season 1. We're almost done. It's unfortunate, but the show is amazing. Of course, we have a season 2. I think we have a total of 26 episodes, 13 episodes season 1, 13 episodes season 2. And then unfortunately the show is over. But the thing is, we have to just love the fact that at least we got what we got, because that's most important to me. Like, I'll still sit here and dwell and be upset the fact we didn't get more, but I'm going to enjoy all of this as much as I can as I'm watching this for the first time, and just continue to love and appreciate what we have. And then when we get to the end, then I'll be upset even more so. So let's get to now episode 11, Group Therapy, the Spectacular Spider-Man. Let's go.
You've made tremendous progress. You need to continue.
Oh shit.
Therapy, but I just know you'll do great out there.
Owe it all to you, Dr. Kafka. You're the only person who wrote to me at Ravencroft, Dr. Octavius.
Well, I've taken a special
What?
interest in your case.
What?
Interest which should benefit us both.
Love the idea of double teaming you know who.
Double team? Oh, surely we can do better than that.
Wait a minute. Wait.
Mr. H.
Holy shit. Are they setting up Sinister Six right now? Are they? Oh my god.
Just save room for dessert. Spider-Man a la mode.
Oh. Didn't stand a chance. They're in a cell together. Then again, I don't know. It's unfortunately, you can't hold in supervillains in a regular prison like that. And they tried.
No.
Boys.
Okay, this makes more sense. Oh boy.
Gotta love these lazy Saturday mornings.
I don't know. Holy crap.
I better get up.
You stayed in bed a long time there, sir.
Making this the third time the singer's baby was found driving her car.
Aunt May?
Now, repeating our
What?
top story.
What about a baby? Notice his jacket. Hey, it's black with white stripes, and they're saying
You take pictures of Spidey stealing the alien life form instead of calling the cops. I was over the whole lizard thing, but this is who you are, Pete. Loser. You do
setting
it
up.
this
He
way.
really despises Peter.
Claim are your friends. What you need is a taste of your own medicine.
I've lost my oldest friend. Well, who needs him? I've got the cool new suit. And a little something to take my mind off my troubles.
Well, until they start showing up. Holy shit. Oh my gosh. He picked it up with his horn. Here he comes.
I know. Usually don't get the tingles when the bad guy's in plain sight.
Because that person was not in plain sight.
Sorry, Spidey.
Now then, Arachnid. Any last words?
Oh shit.
Humana comes to mind.
Exactly, holy shit. Why are they still out there?
You can attack that young man.
Oh boy, if only you knew.
I'll be fine, man.
Move.
Get to safety.
Holy shit. I don't know how you're gonna do this. I mean, the symbiote might give him more of an advantage than normal, maybe?
May!
Oh crap. What's going on? What? And this is happening too, of course. Jesus.
Lizard and Goblin at Nick's.
Oh!
This dog's not too old to learn your tricks. My tech is protected by reinforced steel.
Formal methods will work on us a second time.
That's actually pretty smart.
Independent.
So they have to learn a new way. Damn.
I go to amateurs. Who you calling an amateur?
He's right there watching him. Ugh. That's creepy.
He is someone I met at the farm, huh? And here he is now. Gotta go.
Oh. Oh shit.
Woman had a heart attack.
Well, give me a name, Robbie. The people want to know.
Oh
who to
shit.
May Parker.
Damn.
Peter's Aunt May.
Jonah, you're calling to yell at me for not getting pics of those bozos beating me up.
He has no idea.
We don't need.
And of course he doesn't answer the phone. Jesus Christ. Peter.
9 p.m.
Home of May.
And Peter.
Interesting.
Please leave a
Camera work
message
here.
And we'll call back. Peter, it's Anna again. Please call.
Oh my gosh. 15 missed messages?
This obsession with Spider-Man is a distraction. It's Osborn
Okay.
who's truly
Osborn. That makes more sense for him.
H. See if he'll give the okay to ditch you, sorry.
Stop! What are you doing? I need a cure.
The escaped convicts have left Times Square and have now taken hostages at the Metro Bank near Central Park.
Okay. Holy shit. Is he still asleep? I think he's asleep. My god.
What's the matter, web creep? Too scared to crack a last joke?
He's not awake. Oh!
I'll finish him.
Oops.
And the four of them went to a conference together. And there was this funny little plane crash.
I'm sorry. I didn't know.
Well, stuff happens.
Plane crash. Okay,
Hey,
Dude.
slow down, Chief.
come on.
Who's kind of been
Holy shit.
Okay, not
Yeah,
fighting
he's
right
making it
now.
obvious that
Stop
he's
right now.
a little crazy.
I know how the story ends.
He may not be perfect, but whatever his faults, he's twice the man you'll ever be.
I love that answer. Thank you, Mary. Thank you. Ooh. That was actually pretty smart.
Fry you for that freak.
Yep. I figured. The symbiote's pretty smart. Pretty smart. Oh, no. Oh, my gosh. That was good. It didn't affect him, but still, that was pretty cool. But seeing them both using their powers together was pretty cool. I'll admit that. Get on. Yep. Boom. Man. Using the villains against each other, in a sense. Rhino's a shield. Yep. Damn. You didn't move?
Get him off.
Oh. Damn. What to say? Jesus. that was so cool. Oh. Wow, I'm surprised they actually showed that, even though it's sand, man. You have a point.
I knew you were finally getting serious when you stopped cracking your pathetic little jokes. Just as I knew you would expend your energies fighting my allies.
Jesus. Yep.
Your new suit interests me, Arachnid.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to enjoy peeling it away.
We actually won't be able to.
He's gonna.
Spider-Man, stop.
Oh. Oh. The symbiote was about to go a little too far there.
After the day she had yesterday, we'll let her sleep a bit longer.
Oh my gosh. Ugh. This is irritating. Irritating.
Stop Sinister Six. This wasn't me wearing the suit. This was the suit wearing my body.
Yes. Yes.
It's some kind of symbiote.
Mm-hmm.
Still, what do we care? The Six were put down hard. Parker gets paid for the photos. What else matters?
Pete! She should be okay, but she's in the hospital.
This show continues to deliver. Holy shit. This episode was fantastic. I cannot get enough of this episode. Holy crap. So the Sinister Six joined up. The team is here, and they were working together to fight Spider-Man. Now, what I liked about it was a very good group of villains. Of course, a lot of them were introduced to. Of course, well, all of them we were introduced to, but they were in the show quite a bit before they actually became the villain that they are, and they really made an impact. And so it made sense, because we had a couple other villains that we were introduced to in the show, but it makes more sense that this group here. Now, Green Goblin would have been a nice choice, but obviously that reveal was a whole different storyline entirely and all that. But still, it was nice to see this group together, because it was a really nice variety of villains, because their powers are so unique and different. And at the time when Peter fought them one-on-one, back when they were introduced fully as their characters, he had to figure out a way. I can't talk today. It's been a long day. Figure out a way to fight them individually, and it was very different because he's never really fought supervillains before, and now he's starting to learn how to fight supervillains. It's a whole new thing for him. So now he's fight all six, and they've upgraded, and they found a way to basically not get taken out a second time like they have been before. So that was interesting how they're all working together. And Peter, the first time when he fought them and he was conscious and he wasn't asleep like he was the second time, he was like, oh boy, this is not going to work. This is not going to work for me. Apologies for the light over here. I thought it was over here. It's over here. Apologies for the light. I can't help that, unfortunately. So that was something. So he had to escape. He had to get away, because like, there's no way I could do this. And unfortunately, at the same time this is happening and the rest of the episode, Aunt May has a heart attack. And she started feeling not herself for the last number of episodes. From what I'm remembering, like, they gave little hints here and there something was wrong, and I was wondering what it was. And wow, I was not expecting to go that direction with Aunt May. And the fact is, they played it to where Peter had no idea. Like, that's brutal. Like, that's really brutal. And I think it adds more to him not really paying attention to his surroundings, because the suit has completely it's starting to change him, and now he's completely changed by the end of the episode, where because he reads the newspaper and realizes he took photos of a fight he wasn't actually awake for. He was unconscious. That's why he didn't speak. And I think it was interesting because the symbiote decided to go out on its own without Peter being awake, because it doesn't need Peter to be awake. It will just use Peter as a host to go from one place to another and to find a way to brutally take out, because I say brutally because Spider-Man wouldn't have done some of those moves. Like having a blast from the Shocker go through Sandman, and then shooting webs through the hole in Sandman's chest, and then pulling Shocker too, and then having his hands go inside Sandman. Like, knowing it's Sandman, obviously he's going to dissipate like he did, and dissipate and get off, and so we don't see that image we don't see the image for a long time, but still the thought of that Spider-Man Peter doing that willingly, he wouldn't. The symbiote did. The symbiote was doing things that, of course, Peter would never do, and the symbiote was about to kill Dr. Octopus. Of course, he got stopped, but still. So Peter, he was trying his old methods, and it just wasn't going to work, and they made sure very early on in that first fight when he was awake that those methods are not going to work. And so all this is going on, of course, like I was saying, how Aunt May had the heart attack, and how he kept missing phone calls. Because J. Jonah Jameson was calling him to tell him, and he ignored the call. What an ass. Why would you not answer the phone? But his personality, his mood is changing. So that was really affecting his mindset. Because I think he would have answered that phone if the symbiote had not started taking more control of him. And his response at first, finding out that the second fight where he actually took them down wasn't even him. It was him, but not really him. It was the symbiote. He kind of like, well, who cares, The bad guys are taken out. I'm earning money from the pictures. Whatever. And then realizing Aunt May's in the hospital, and Mary Jane Watson goes and tells him. Mary Jane Watson comes back from some sort of ferry or some sort of boat or something, and she is riding on a bike with, I won't say the enemy. He's about to be the enemy. Getting up there, getting close. Eddie Brock. Because we had a scene earlier where Eddie's wearing this black jacket with white lines, kind of symbolizing a little bit of Venom, a little bit. And he is really pissed off at Peter. And they've been setting that up because they were really good friends. They've known each other forever. And he's really upset. And he doesn't want to be bros with Peter anymore. Makes sense. It makes sense. So now, I think he was only with Mary Jane Watson to get back at Peter. Because that's why he brought it up. He's like, so do you think Peter's going to be bummed? He's like, oh, well, he knows we're not exclusive. Peter wants to be exclusive with you, Mary Jane, but it is what it is. But that's the only reason why, because he said that I don't know, because he was telling Peter, Eddie's like, I don't know if there's anything that anything that you really care about. And he thinks that, well, Peter cares about Mary Jane, so I'm going to start hanging out with Mary Jane. He's riding like a madman through out of hell, down the street, down through town, down the street, downtown, running red lights, about to run over people. And he's talking about, their parents and everything, and there was a plane crash, all that kind of stuff. It's like, interesting, some details here and there. Mary Jane Watson at the end throws that helmet back at him because he almost wrecks the bike several times, and she's like freaking out. And she's like, regardless of what Peter did, he's double the man you'll ever be, or something to the effect of where Peter's a way better man than you, Eddie. Like you were threatening my life. You were going crazy. You weren't stopping. You need help. Eddie needs help. Well, he's not going to get it, unfortunately. So that whole thing was going on there. I don't think Peter's going to really come to a senses until the symbiote's off. So, because, now he literally found out that he wasn't even in the second fight at all. Like, he wasn't conscious. And they made a point to point that out, saying, yeah, you're not really giving your quips. And then Dr. Octopus was saying how, I knew that you were going to get more serious when you stopped, giving your quips. I think Peter wants to find a way whenever he's fighting, whether it's small criminals or super villains like there are now. He just really want to hurt them badly like that. Symbiote doesn't care. Symbiote's trying to protect itself. The symbiote's trying to protect Peter because the symbiote sees Peter as its home, its host, so it doesn't want Peter to get hurt. And the villains want to take out the Spider-Man, which means kill him. So, and obviously they can't say that, but the fact is they said, would you want to crush his skull or impale him in his heart with your like, I think that was the line. Like, that's pretty brutal shit. But it's like they're not going to say ultimately kill him. Because you crush Peter's skull. You crush it, he's dead. Okay? So they want him dead. So the symbiote's like, no. Because the symbiote was there fighting them for the first time. The symbiote's hearing all this. So the symbiote knows, I have to do everything in my power to take these villains out. Take these people out before it kills the host. Before it kills my home, Peter. So that kind of sets the symbiote off. The symbiote was actually really smart in terms of, well, more brutal, but also smart into where it's using villains attacking other villains. So that was smart on its part, because literally Peter would do that, but not to the effect of the symbiote was like learning like faster and more efficient how to turn the villains hitting each other. Like seeing Electro and Shocker working together, shooting off their abilities, and then the symbiote, because I can't say Peter, because the Peter was asleep the whole time. I'm surprised he was asleep the whole time. I guess symbiote found a way to make it to where Peter isn't noticing or can't wake up. I have no idea. But I don't know how he slept through all this. But using Rhino as a shield against their attacks, like, that's smart shit. And then like having Sandman and Vulture running at the symbiote, and the symbiote jumping up at the last second, then bam. And then, like I was saying earlier, Sandman hole in the chest pulls Shocker through. Like, it's crazy stuff, but it goes to show the different fighting abilities. And I think Peter would just, he's not going to do that stuff. He's just not. I mean, not to that effect, I don't think. Like, it's definitely not the same, thing on that. Gosh, I got to move out of the way. Got to move over here. Man, hold on a second. Unfortunately, I can't escape it. I tried to move the camera around, I just can't. Apologies for the lighting, guys. I'm really sorry. And then, of course, it ends with Mary Jane Watson telling him what happened to Aunt May. I'm wondering where the next episode leads, because hopefully Peter comes to his senses about what's going on here, because this is not good. Clearly, this is not good. I mean, his mind says, like, well, it's fine, whatever. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not. So, what did you guys think of this episode? I'm curious to know your thoughts. I really enjoyed the Sinister Six angle and the slow build-up of revealing slowly each character and everything, and just showing that this is going to be pretty fun, and it was. And also seeing the villains, too, kind of going at each other, that little dinner scene, because some of them were like, well, this is more than about Spider-Man, and I want to do this, this, and this. And it's like, it makes sense, because villains working together is not the same as heroes. Heroes have a common goal. These villains do have a common goal in a sense when Dr. Octopus gets them kind of in line. Spider-Man is the goal here. That's the goal, take him out. But ultimately, some of the villains want other things. They want to do other things. Electro wants a cure, like, it just stuff like that. And then Vulture saying that Oscorp, that's the thing that I want to go after. Villains working together never ultimately ends up working. I mean, I look back on Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes and seeing the team up there. I forget what the team was called, but the team of villains working together against the Avengers. And ultimately, a lot of them were just literally pawns in a game, of a bigger game, and they weren't actually a team. So it just goes to show that, like, villains, in case, and they hinted that here. I mean, I think that if the Sinister Six continues to happen, that ultimately it's not gonna be a continuous thing, because eventually they're gonna turn on each other, or they're not going to agree on the same things, because like they were showing that in the dinner scene. So clearly, it's not a thing to where villains can work together properly. Heroes, yes. So, like I was saying, what did you guys think of the episode? I'm curious to know your thoughts. I really enjoyed the Sinister Six angle and the Aunt May thing. That was quite surprising. It's shocking, and Peter slowly just not being himself anymore. It really sucks, but that's what happens with the symbiote. The symbiote is slowly taking over. So what did you guys think of the episode? I'm curious to know your thoughts, guys. Whatever thoughts you have, let me know in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will talk to you guys soon. Peace out.